Evening universe, Darren Hunch. Imagine, if you will, the following scenario. A man goes to a doctor, specialist doctor, let's say an ear, nose and throat specialist doctor, to get advice about a prominent nasal area, problem area on his facial region. Ordinary patient, ordinary bearded patient, let's, for the sake of anonymity, call him Mr. Television. His doctor advises Mr. Television that he should have a simple nasal operation. That's right, a nose operation. Operation on the nose, the nasal area. All right so far. But do you think this doctor, this so-called man of medicine, this medical practitioner, do you think at any time he tells the poor, innocent patient about the side effects of the operation? The simple side effects, like, for example, that after the operation he's going to have to wear bandages on his nose for 6 weeks? Quite big prominent bandages on the old proboscis that highlight the fact that Mr. Television has had a nose job for 6 bloody weeks. Everyone's staring at your hooter with jokes like you had to have the nose job so you couldn't smell your own show, and rather than go into Bob Hawkes and get it done for free. Very funny. 6 long weeks. What happened to medical responsibility? Whatever happened to the Hippocratic oath? Shame, nasal practitioner's shame. I don't hunch. That's noses. Evening viewers, evening moon stars. I'm Darren Hunch, and I'm pissed off. That's right, you heard me. Pissed off. I might say it again, maybe later on the show, maybe next week. Not just Darren Hunch being frank, not just Darren Hunch giving a damn, but Darren Hunch with a damn serious case of the Don bloody chips. I'll tell you why. It's not because a crippled schizophrenic widow let her 8 children die in a house blaze inferno while she was in a backyard clinic undergoing an illegal head transplant by a Vietnamese faith healer. No. Because of 2 disgusting words. 2 words, that's all it takes. 2 words for me to get passionate. And I mean Darren Hunch, the other 2 words. That's right, 2 different words. 2 other words. I'm going to say them right now. Right here, right now. 2 words, ratings drop. That's right. Appalled. Actually hurt. That's right. Hurt that you were even tempted to watch some other show, some non-Hunch show without me in it. And prove just how hurt I am, I'm going to cry. Right here, right now. Cry just a little bit, just a touch of the Hawksies, just to see how it goes. It's got him in 4 times, it's worth a try. I'm going to cry right now. There you have it. That's all I can say. I don't have to talk to you like that. I don't hunch. I'm crying. Evening, Nine Universe. I don't hunch, and tonight I'm here to expose a sham, a phony, a charlatan. I'm talking about one of the biggest rating success stories on Australian television. That's right, Don Burke. Ha! Don Burke of Burke's Backyard. Sure, it may be a pleasant way to relax in front of your television set, learn all about your own vegetables and pets. Tonight, I'm going to blow the whistle on his whole Burke operation. That's right, right here, right now. I'm going to set the record straight. That's right, I'm here to expose the true nature of his so-called visits to the gardens of so-called prominent people. I've obtained exclusive evidence that these seemingly impromptu visits to the private gardens of the famous Australians are rigged. That's right, they're phony, they're a sham, they're a setup, they're a sham, they're a sham. Said that. I've said it, and it bears repeating. It's a sham. It's come to my attention that the Don Burke crew just don't drive around willy-nilly, then turn up at the front door and film the hilarity between Don and his special guest. It's all been pre-arranged. It's all been worked out before. Find it hard to believe, true. You know what really gets me? In all the time this alleged television program has been on the air, and all the so-called prominent people they've interviewed, they've never visited the biggest star of them all. No, not her. The greatest living media megastar this country has ever produced or fertilised, to use a gardening expression. That's right, this show has steadfastly refused to come to my place. So let me show off my garden, roots and all. I won't even return my phone calls. I'm Darren Hunch, and this is my petunia. Good evening, men and women of Australia. I don't hunch. I'm not saying we're short of stories. I'm not saying we're full of stories. But there are only so many pedophiles to go round. Tonight, an ordinary man, in an ordinary job, in an ordinary suburb, in an ordinary job. Already said that bit. It's ordinary, sounds ordinary, but is he ordinary? I'll let you be the judge. His name, Gordon Francis Marshalliti. Pamela Graham followed this man round for a week. Every morning he gets up, 8 o'clock, went to work. I'm not saying he didn't go to work. I'm asking the question. In his hand was a briefcase. What was in the briefcase? Was it drugs? I'm not saying it was drugs, but it was drugs. I'm not saying it was drugs, but it was drugs. I'm not saying it was drugs, but it was drugs. It was angel dust, ecstasy, crack, smack, half whack. You take a pick. The point is, a briefcase that big, full of the brim of smack, estimated street value, $8 million. I'll say that again, $8 million. 5 days a week, that's $40 million a week. One Gordon Francis Marshallini could be making 52 weeks a year, less than 4 weeks a year they go caravanning at Mount Buffalo. Other the sons. That's on top of the money he's pulling down as a file clerk with the Pasture Regrowth Authority, $28,500 a year, plus the superannuation plan. I'm not saying he's definitely a drug dealer. He's far too smart for that one. I'm certainly not saying he's definitely not a drug dealer. He is Gordon Francis Marshallini is without a doubt the biggest drug distributor in the world. Mr. Big, numero uno, El Capitano, working right under our very noses, day in, day out. Now, the funny thing is, when we asked the police about the so-called Gordon Francis Marshallino, they said, who? That's right, who? They hadn't even heard of him. Who indeed? I don't hunch, and you won't catch me carrying a briefcase. I'm Darren Hunch. Over the years, I've had my fair share of pedophiles, queue-jumping Asian, doll-bludging, social welfare scabs and drunken, triple-offending, .05 repeat offenders. This show is more than just good luck stories. I'm as capable of serious, in-depth political analysis as the next bearded mogul. Case in point, Robert James Lee Hawke. Bob Hawke. Specifically, Bob Hawke's prostate problem. Who leaked that? The Prime Minister's prostate first leaked on this show. That's not all. I didn't go to a limb, or an organ to be exact. The PM, Robert James Lee Hawke, is full of faulty organs. He's running down quicker than a rock spider with a hinge crew after him. I'm going to spill the beans on this so-called Robert James Lee Hawke. On his kidneys. Kidneys are shot. That's not all. Livers, about to give up the ghost, spleens, bladders, gauze, lungs, intestines, pancreas, you name it, he's losing it. Our Prime Minister is a walking delicatessen clearance aisle. Ask yourself why it is Bob Hawke cries so much. I'll tell you why. Irreversible tertiary affectation of the tear duct. And who said you don't get political comment on this show? I'm Darren Hunch. That's life. So we were standing there, gazing out over the sea of tranquility, and it was as cold as buggery. But if I made a promise, if I got there, I'd do it. So I put it on. It was 2 or 3 minutes while Armstrong took the photos. And so that was why Darren Hunch was photographed wearing Ron Barassi's football jumper on the moon. In free world, I'm not the sort of person to fly off the handle very easily. When I do, it's usually for a very good reason. A very good reason, like criminals who remain unpunished for 45 years, refusing to come on my show just because I won't pay them to appear. That's right, I won't pay war criminals. I won't employ them. I'm not implying anything about the cast of Neighbours, not yet anyway, but I will name them. I'm going to do it right here, right now. This is Adolf Hitler. It's not him I'm going to name, because we all know who Adolf Hitler was. Adolf Hitler was a bastard. That's right, Adolf Hitler was a bastard. When was the last time you heard anyone on Neighbours say Adolf Hitler was a bastard? So tonight, I'm going to name the man who enabled Adolf Hitler to walk over Europe. That's him, Adolf Hitler, walking over Europe. To stomp on Europe, grind them into the ground, trample them underfoot. That's right, tread right on top of them in hobnail boots. The man, Adolf Hitler's bootmaker. When you think about it, Adolf Hitler would never have enjoyed the high ratings he had with the German public if he didn't have the help of this man, because nobody takes people with bare feet seriously. This monster claims that he was merely a respectable craftsman in Hamburg, just doing his job, just following orders. Now he's living in Cootamundra, New South Wales, and tonight I'm going to name him. So make sure you stay watching and don't switch over to that other program that may or may not employ war criminals. I don't hunch. Guten Tag. Welcome back, Australia. Helmut Scherkelmann. That's right, Helmut Rolf Scherkelmann. I promised I'd name him, and I have. He made boots for a mass murderer, one Adolf Hitler. And now he's living in Cootamundra in New South Wales, unpunished punished, still at his evil trade, bootmaking. Turns my stomach to think that innocent people in this country could still be wearing Nazi footwear. Well, only the tip of the iceberg. Emperor Hirohito, remember that name? Without a well-kept lawn, he could never have commanded the fanatical devotion of the Japanese army. And without that, the war in the Pacific might never have happened. So you've got to ask yourself, who is really responsible? And I say it's Kenzo Yamaguchi. That's right, Kenzo Yamaguchi, a so-called landscape gardener of Renmark, South Australia. For all we know, may well have brought with him the very lawnmower that bombed Pearl Harbor. Shame, the lot of you, shame. The next time you deal with a tradesman, make sure they can verify their movements between 1939 and 1945. That's what I do, and it's what you should do too. Let bygones be bygones, not on your sweet Nelly, especially not during the ratings period. I'm Darren Hunch, lest we forget.
When I discovered America in 1463, it was an accidental sort of thing. I was on I guess I was on a fishing trip with Ron Barassi. And we looked up and we saw all these Indians standing on the shore. And I said to Ron, this looks like a really good spot to catch barramundi. So that's how I discovered America. Never forget that. Caught 16 really big ones that day. Story. That was a party, and I was drinking gin sling, and John Lennon came up to me. He said, Darren, I haven't told anyone else this, but I'm going to quit the Beatles. Well, I said, John Lennon, I said this to, I said, John Lennon, if that's what you're going to do, John, to find inner peace with yourself, man, well, dig it, baby. And he said, Darren, don't tell anyone this till I've told Paul, George, and Ringlow, I think his name was. So there I was, Darren Hunch, sitting on what I think arguably was the biggest story of my career, almost biblical story, and I couldn't tell anyone because, proud to say, John Lennon is my friend. And I'm glad I brought that one up. It was an incredible story. I was in the world crowd for the World Cup, and it would have been 66. Don't forget that, 100,000 screaming soccer fans. Georgie Best fell over, does his ankle. Well, luckily, I had my boots and my England colours in the car, so I zipped out and ran onto the ground. And I suppose I'm fortunate to be able to say that I was able to kick the 2 winning goals for England that day. Never forget that. It was incredible. I was having a drink with Mike Tyson, and Mike said, you make great boxer, Darren. So I stripped off and got in the ring with him, and to my own amazement, I knocked him out in the third. Couldn't believe that myself, which was lucky because I had to go and sing with a concert with Sinatra and Manelli.
In the known universe, I'm Darren Hunch. Tonight, I'm going to expose psychiatrists. Right in this program, right now, this very minute, I'm not mucking around, I can assure you that thing, once and for all. We'll read about psychiatrists and overprescribing pills, or what about the dangers of pills allegedly to suppress psychiatric disorders, or mumbo-jumbo, claptrap, psychiatric mumbo-jumbo, the weak way out, the soft option, the lazy man, etc. Sad truth is, half the people on this sad cycle of medication don't, in fact, need it. They can do just as well, thank you very much, without it. Without the pills, without the tablets, without the medication, without the pills. Done that. Chuck them out. Out they go. They don't need it. I chucked my blue ones out yesterday afternoon. Last night, the yellow ones as well. And the red ones. And at midnight, the orange ones threw themselves out the window. I promise you, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own 3 eyes. I'll tell you something else. I've never felt better in my entire life. In fact, now the scourge of psychiatric medication has been lifted from my shoulders. I'm now to reveal on national television something the psychiatrists of this world deliberately conspired together to stop me saying. Here it is, I'm going to say it. I am, in fact, Kylie Minogue. That's right, the 5'2" singing sensation, former star of Neighbours, the singing budgie, is me. And me is her, and her is me. Now, if you don't believe me, see if this rings a bell. Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Come on, baby. Do the locomotion. Everybody do. Good evening. Last week on national television, I revealed to you the awful truth I've had to live with. A truth that a conspiracy of psychiatrists could not keep hidden, especially once I stopped the medication they had me on. The truth is that I am Kylie Minogue. The press is hounding me, crucifying me. All they want to know about is me and Michael Hutchence. Well, don't believe everything you read in the papers. Why can't they leave us be? Why can't they recognise this perfectly normal and beautiful thing for a lead singer of a well-known rock band to be seen with a beautiful, blonde, singing sensation with a beard such as myself? Why don't they let us build our own little love nest away from the madding crowd? Let me wear my short leather skirts. Let Michael run his fingers through my long tresses. Is there something wrong with that? Is everybody sick? You need help, some of you people. You're the ones that should be seeing psychiatrists. I'm Darren Minogue. I'm not ashamed to say, Michael, I love you.
How did I discover the laser? Well, I'm often asked that question. How did Darren Hunch discover the laser? I was fiddling around with a couple of crystals at Princeton doing some advanced research, and it occurred to me that if you put some charged particles through the crystals, that you would have what we now know, of course, to be the laser. Originally I was going to call it the Huncher, but that would have fitted on a CD player as well. Could have, but probably not as well. Well, I suppose if anybody had ever said to me, Darren Hunch, you're going to be the first man to break the sound barrier in the world, I never would have believed it. You know, I'll never forget that day at Edwards Air Force Base when Chuck Yeager turned to me and Chuck said, "That was some mighty fine flying, Iceman." I never would have forgotten that. I said, "Chuck, it's yours. Go with it, son."
In the universe, I'm Darren Hunch. Over the past 3 years, I've single-handedly been responsible for putting every lout, every pedophile, crook, blood and alcohol lout, child molesting lout, social welfare cheat, immigration queue jumping bastards. So they really get up my nose. All those other forms of louts into the shame file. Number in Australia, 16,220,478 louts. That doesn't leave a lot of louts left to shame. Unfortunately, regrettably, sadly. So tonight, I'm going to expose a new breed of lout. A new type of social menace. They're not the queue-jumping, drunken Asian pedophile with blood alcohol readings of 3.9. I was thinking about a completely new breed of lout. And I've said that before, and I know it may appear like I'm filling in time. You've done 16 million of the bastards. It doesn't leave you a lot of places to go. I'm talking about a new breed of lout. The sort of lout that because he or she, let's not forget she's, because there are plenty of females in this new lot, the sort of lout who does nothing. That's it, nothing. Zilch, nix, zero, no numbers at all. I'll say it again, nothing. The anti-lout. Too scared to be louts. Too scared to get off their bums and do anything vaguely loutesque in character. Why? Because... I think I'm not going to tell you, because I'm going to tell you now why. Because they're afraid that if they did that, I would catch them. I'd catch them and put them on the shame file, put them on a commercial television, ruin their lives, give me something to fill up a program with. I wish. Well, I'm putting out the challenge, laying down the gauntlet. I challenge you people to get off your bums and do something. Get drunk, drive a car, take a job, get in the doll, join the scouting movement. I'll do more than challenge you. I'll pay you. I'm Darren Hunch. I've got cash.
A very good evening to you. I suppose you might be wondering what the dickens I'm doing here. Perhaps you are, perhaps you aren't. But I'd like to say I'm very touched and deeply honoured to be filling in for Darren on this occasion. Thank you very much for joining me. I think you're really going to enjoy tonight's viewing, I promise you that. I like to think of it as the golden years of outrage. Fascinating, isn't it? Our story, the pedophile Iraqi tank driver who overstayed his visa, is one, it's a story, it's very near and dear to my heart, and I'm sure you'll agree with it when you see it. Now, incidentally, our child molester, played brilliantly by Must Have a Habit, is a real veteran of indecent assault. It's interesting to note that this is his 80th offence, something that I find strangely disturbing and outrageously shameful and downright disgusting. Here's something that will intrigue you, I promise. Do you know the line, the immortal line, that he says to the judge just before his sentence is passed? It's a line stuck in my mind ever since I first saw it, and now I'm going to read it to you. I've already said this. He says, and I'll say it again, I'm a victim of circumstance. It's absolutely brilliant. I could listen to that line over and over again, as I'm sure many of Mr. Habit's judges have over the years. Please share this magical moment with me now as I present in all its uncut, lurid detail a story that not only took my breath away, but had me saying to myself over and over again, shame, pedophile, Iraqi tank driving over ladies' visa, shame.
Evening, new models. I don't hunch. I won't be silenced, won't be stopped, won't shut up. There's almost one every day. It's enough to make you sick. They cause untold misery to innocent people. They ruin lives. They waste money. They cost people a lot in terms of pain, effort and emotion. And for what? I'm talking about shame files. That's right, the shame file. A file that humiliates people just because they happen to get a bit drunk and drive someone over, or sneak into the country and live off other people's taxes, or put dolphins on death row. That's right, the shame file. A file that shames people. And for no reason whatsoever, except maybe for ratings. We put this on ratings for no good reason whatsoever. Well, I reckon the shame file stinks. I think it's gone low enough. Shame file, shame. I'm so disgusted. Disgusted is the word I use because it's the first word that came to my head. I'm so disgusted with this so-called shame file. There's only one thing to do with it. I'm putting the shame file in the sludge file. That's right, the shame file going straight into the sludge file. Was it the other way around? The sludge file going to the shame file. New details. Shame, sludge. I don't know. That's life.